asleep. Something's gonna bring the change. Journeys we are meant to take. Something at the edge of space, calling us to fly away. Don't you be afraid, everything will change. You and I, jumping off the edge. They say dreamers never die. So come and fly, come and fly, come and fly away with me. We're rising, we're falling, we're making through. We're climbing, we're soaring, 1,000 views. We're rising, we're falling, we're making through. We're climbing, we're soaring, 1,000 views. Come and fly away, come and fly away, come and fly away with me. Come and fly away, come and fly away, come and fly away with me. Something's gonna bring the change. Journeys we are meant to take. Something at the edge of space, calling us to fly away. Come and fly away with me. 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 Don't you be afraid, everything will change. You and I, jumping off the edge. They say dreamers never die. So come and fly, come and fly, come and fly away with me. We're rising, we're falling, we're making through. We're climbing, we're soaring, 1,000 views. We're rising, we're falling, we're making through. We're climbing, we're soaring, 1,000 Somewhere by the emerald sea, where the moon and water meet. Somewhere close to harmony, when the world is sound asleep. Something's gonna bring the change. Journeys we are meant to take. Something at the edge of space, calling us to fly away. Don't you be afraid, everything will change. You and I, jumping off the edge. They say dreamers never die. So come and fly, come and fly, come and fly away with me. We're rising, we're falling, we're making through. We're climbing, we're soaring, 1,000 views. We're rising, we're falling, we're making through. We're climbing, we're soaring, 1,000 views. Come and fly away, come and fly away, come and fly away with me. Come and fly away, come and fly away, come and fly away with me. Something's gonna bring the change. Journeys we are meant to take. Something at the edge of space, calling us to fly away. had the whole world at our feet, watching seasons change. Our roads were lined with adventure, mountains in the way couldn't keep us from the sea. Here we stand, open arms. This is home where we are, ever strong in the world that we made. I still hear you in the breeze, see your shadows in the trees, holding on, memories never change.
Five seconds remaining.
Yeah.
Turn to pick.
Dragon Knight. Ancient apparition.
Yeah, I'm super hyped for what's being coined as Hassan Bowl. Of course, in case you're somehow not aware of this, Sumail, the younger brother of Yawar, each going to be taking the safe lane carry role respectively, both for OG and for Quincy Crew. Man, I'm excited, especially because OG yesterday during Nigma, I mean, these two teams always deliver when they've played against each other, whether it was OG and Liquid back when it was that iteration of the team, or OG Nigma. Game 3 was just absolutely incredible. Saksa was playing absolutely out of his mind. But just giving Seb Timbersaw, man, giving him a hero that he can just be so aggressive on just seems like such a dangerous option here.
Dire team ban.
Venomancer.
OG's turn to ban.
Yeah, absolutely. And our draft now just getting underway. We're about to jump right in there because we've got the first couple of picks already coming on through. So without further delay, let's get underway, boys. Hassan Bowl game number 1 draft now live on your screen. OG already picking up that Ancient Apparition and DK combo, whereas Quincy will go for that Lion and Veno.
Dire team ban. OG's turn to ban. Dire team ban.
Yeah, a bit. It seems like Quincy, this is like very much a comfort style of drafting for them. Just kind of picking, especially with 4th pick overall in the draft, giving Lelis, just a really strong laner, something that is going to need either a bespoke response out from OG, or he's going to kind of ruin your carries early game. Usually this is done via the Viper, as he pointed out, but OG taking the step to go ahead and actually get that one banned out here. Taking a look at our second phase bans now, it looks like we're focusing a bit more actually on the carries, as we see the Dusa yesterday. That Sumail wasn't, he's not really a big fan of the Dusa. I think he thinks the hero's a little bit boring to play, but also banning out that Nature's Prophet, as well as the Drow Ranger, just to make sure that the Veno has got some of his bases covered here in terms of the lane counters.
5 seconds remaining. OG's turn to pick. Dire team pick.
Ripper.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I'll just say this for the formality of it. I do suspect that this is going to be a position for Hoodwink for now. But OG, of course, yesterday they did draft and won game 3 off of the tops in mid lane. Hoodwink, they've ended up flexing the Mars back to position 5 for No Tail, who absolutely killed it that game as well, I should add. And it was just overall a really, really chaotic game. It almost ended up losing, but they brought it back. They just, fought just a little bit too well there towards the late game. The clockwork will come through. So I think that's something that, of course, Quincy Crew, having, they lost their first game of the day, 2-0 to T1, they were probably watching in preparation for that match. So that'll be fresh on the minds of course, all the OG fans, but also Quincy Crew.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
You brought up the TB earlier, and I still think TB, it's looking a little scarier now with the clockwork. Because, of course, just being able to get control through, especially if it's a position 4 o'clock, maybe even twice with that Aghanim Scepter granting overclock, being a little bit scary. And we do have already a couple of other answers to the TB, especially Lion. We've seen the prominence of Lion as a response to TB, especially with that Aghanim Shard build, just making TB's illusions very, very difficult to maintain in these fights.
Dire team pick.
Necrophos.
Ten seconds remaining.
Vano's got plenty of magic damage. I mean, at least it's something that if you can get an Ice Blast onto the clockwork, maybe just a Breathe Fire onto him, or in the early game, you can just Reaper Scythe him and immediately remove him from the fight, being a strength here. I mean, there's that to be said about it, at least looking at a little bit more at the team comp, but you're right, when it comes down to the hero itself, he does tend to struggle a little bit. We'll see here how Quincy are going to respond. Again, with the amount of experience that this OG roster has, it's always a little bit difficult, not only, of course, being on a draft panel for their games, but also drafting against them, because you're never really sure where they're going to end up taking things.
OG's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban.
Yeah, I was thinking about the Naga. Again, some small issues, quote unquote, with the Lion, right? He is going to be an answer to all of your illusions, which is not going to, make it as free as a Naga game here for Sumail. You can't just, A-click all of your illusions and chase down supports, while continuing to farm the jungle, because the Lion will be able to handle that. But the core-to-core matchup is very, very strong indeed. Yeah. Plus, agreed. Yeah, that's true. You've got a combo. I was just going to mention the song for just the team fight reset it gives you.
Dire team pick.
I honestly, I could see it here. I could see it. Because I think the PL, which slipped my mind, was the optimal pick, but Quincy are very wise to ban that one out. Naga Siren, I think, does similar things, but we just need sustained damage in these fights, to be honest. We need, ideally, an illusion hero and sustained damage, not all in one burst, because you've got that covered squared away, and you don't want to pick 5, ultra nukers versus a Wraith King, because eventually he's going to come back on that second life, and you'll have nothing for him then.
OG's turn to pick.
Bad Rider!
It's a bit of a 4 protect one. I agree, especially with this pick now. Yep.
Now select your heroes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think back then we should have probably called the PL, to be fair, right? But it was banned out, so Quincy, or sorry, rather OG, forced to go with the only other illusion hero really left here at this stage. Still strong versus the Bat Rider. It is going to be this mid lane pick. The concern I have, though, for Quincy Crew is it is going to be a bit of a 4 protect 1. At the end of the day, even though you do take Bat Rider in that 2 position, he's more of a utility core. I mean, what was the game? I think what was it? It was a Wind Strike game I was casting with Rabel, and that man, he's another up-and-coming star mid laner out of the Eastern European region. We saw Lorenoff on this channel yesterday. Unfortunately, get 2-0'd. He's another up-and-coming star. Remember the name Rabel, because he's coming. Even he couldn't carry the game on the Bat Rider, and he did his damnedest to make sure he could. So, at the end of the day, it is going to be, again, the Hassan Bowl, right? It's going to come up to this Wraith King versus Naga Siren, assuming that the lanes come out more or less even. Yeah, position 4 DK is actually pretty normally run, I want to say, in NA. I think 1437 was very keen to spot off his win rate on the hero, which was impressive, of course, the Div 2 Slayers. So shout-outs to him, but I think it's a little bit more regular out there. Yeah, I do like it as well, because now you're going to avoid what was a pretty nasty, 9th pick Bat Rider here. You didn't really have a lot of solutions to it, and at least now you're not going to give him a bunch of kills while also shutting down a mid laner. Thompson ought to be able to get a bit of farm out here, compared to if they threw him on the Necro or the DK.
Feel the
Tell me someone saw it.
30 seconds to battle.
Yep.
The stench of death. The stench of death is
Yeah, that's always going to be a threat here to Quinn. So long as Seb holds his own in these first couple of waves, he ought to be totally fine. I could definitely see this lane becoming pretty stompy, you know, in pubs, for example, if you get a great start, because the only escape mechanism that Hoodwink does have is going to be naturally countered by that Firefly. But for the most part, like you say, you do have at least a little bit of counterplay here on the Squirrel. We'll check out these blocks in the mid lane. Quinn, one of the stronger mids, in my opinion, here currently, is going to go just about even here in the block with Thompson. Yeah, very true. I will say something that's at least nice here for Thompson is the fact that the stacks, individual stacks of the napalm no longer slow you by the 70% at level 1, because of course as a ranged hero with the worst base attack time in the game, that would make the lane a little bit more difficult. So at least these early levels he's managing to find a couple of CS here, 2-0, compared to the 6-1 thus far. Yeah, very similar rather to like an Ember Spirit, where you can go for a cheeky point in the root if you want to try and enable No-Tail to get some kills. For now, though, No-Tail just happy to be able to force the healing salves out from Lelos, who's now just stuck with the 3 tangos, and of course the backup salve that MSS is carrying. Top lane, LOA actually, of course, second point in the mana drain, just looking to make sure that he can minimize Seb's regen here and his CSing with the Death Pulse. That's going to be mighty annoying for him. Saksa, of course, is going to struggle to close the gap to the Lion, but if he actually can get in his face, LOA is not going to be too happy to be exchanging blows with him.
It's all gone rotten.
Thompson's falling low, of course, but he's now got the full upgraded magic wand, even delaying the bottle in favor of making sure that he can get all this regen. Of course, playing versus the Bat Rider, basically a free stick lane. And now that bottle is flying on over to him. So he's missed out at least on the 3-minute water rune, but of course the wand more than making up for it. Oh.
First blood.
Yeah, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Thompson as well plants the tree to block vision. And of course, having already used Flame Break and with the tower providing you vision as well as the Acorn Shot tree itself, Thompson was very easily able to secure that kill. So really, really nice play there.
Seen someone bleed out in a net? No? Let's get started.
Oh, he's going to steal his bounty, I think. Oh, he thought about it. He thought about it.
Bloody bounty. Bad intel.
Yep, kill down bottom. In the meantime, top lane, of course, this is the second time I've now seen them pull both creep waves on over into the hard camp. Saksa, with the second point in Dragon's Blood, like you're saying, is just not really easy to kill here whatsoever. Thompson missed the bushwhack.
Stink one.
Death from above!
Alright, steady, bumpy bee.
So a great line from Team SMG. Sumail, though, is absolutely farming up a storm here. Notel did take that single death, but that's created so much space here overall. He's already into the jungle, as well as has proven to be a bit difficult to deal with now with Poison Sting level 3 and the Gale level 2. So he's decided against going into this Plague Ward build for now. I assume he's going to put a couple of points here and start to set up the toll booth and just look to passively push the tower. Active rotation, though, from Thompson, who instead of TPing back middle, will perhaps look for a kill down bottom. Yep, we're watching it. Notel might exchange his life. They've got another bushwhack in 5 seconds. I suppose Thompson might look to chase, but MSS with boots is going to be able to easily outrun the squirrel. Nice kill down there. They just simply weren't expecting the rotation. Velas was more than willing, of course, to fight the AA, assuming that the squirrel rotated back to the mid lane until he saw the bushwhack coming for him. Not much he could do after that.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Yawar's lane, though, has gone pretty poorly overall. 20 CS now. His tower's about to be taken here. Saksa level 3 still, so he's not gotten any, or much experience, I should say. But Seb already up to level 6 here. There's the rotation from Quinn to relieve some pressure. With the DK, of course, naturally weak to the Bat Rider. We have Lasso to cancel the TP, but we won't need it. We have plenty of damage. It's going to be the first death here for the DK. Quinn may look for a dive here onto No-Tail, supported by MSS. Flame Break with the Cold Feet are going to force Quinn to go take a more scenic route into the cogs. He will go now, as completing the TP will be Seb. Of course, with that level 6 Reaper Scythe available, and Quinn, less HP than he would live on, is going to be forced back. And there will be no such kill here onto the position 5 AA. Relieving pressure, though. That rotation, that play from Quinn does relieve a lot of much-needed pressure onto top lane. Finally able to at least get some alone time with the creep wave. I say that as Sox has immediately come back just to harass him a little bit and soak up some levels for himself. Great. So far, so good. Notel just absorbing levels in mid lane. Seb's now returned top just to make sure that this Wraith King doesn't get to recover for too long in the middle of the waves. Pardon me, you are, by the way, queuing up the Radiance straight up here, just the casual Gloves of Haste. Down bottom, though, it's going to be Quinn making a second rotation. Still 700 gold away from the BOTs, but Thompson here looks like a viable kill. There's the TPs available for the AA and the DK, as, yeah, I think Thompson knows he's in a bit of trouble now and will be killed off.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Rock it on.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Money.
Yeah, very true. Ice Blast is going to look bottom. It will be able to scout Thompson out. Bliss may look to turn. Oh, true.
I did hit the trick.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Of course I underestimated you. Look at you.
bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, that's going to be the second back-to-back death here for Topson. Down bottom, TP now going to be on cooldown for another 40 seconds. So it's the walk of shame back to one of these lanes. Away and Saksa just again continuing to get more and more more levels here in the mid lane. Is that BO3's finish now for Quinn? Indeed it is after that second kill. So he's 3-1-1 on the Bat Rider with a 10-minute BOT. He's not too bad for himself here.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Oh, Stompy? You are in trouble down bottom, though, as there's going to be the older brother now losing his first life. Okay, they're going to set up for him on the second life, and they've got him with plenty of damage. They don't end up killing him exactly with the Reaper's Scythe, but the kill is what they were looking for. They just needed to make sure they executed that one quickly. Mid lane.
Middle tower is under attack.
And it's up.
It's not even my birthday. I guess it could.
Yeah, indeed. Nice play, though, as both Hassan brothers will be killed. Of course, once you see 4 heroes rotate to one side, you rotate your 4 heroes to kill the other one. So just about everything's even here. Saksa now with the Elder Dragon form. I believe this is his first Elder Dragon form of the game. He's going to be looking to push the tower now with Seb. Held at bay, though, by that rocket flare. And SS about to have hookshot in another 15 seconds. From behind, though, comes LOA. Connects onto the stun here, onto the Ancient Apparition of No Tail. Breathe Fire onto Lion here, as the Cogs are just going to separate him. Now they're going to break him in. Quinn wants to look for a fight here. Doesn't have lasso for another 40 seconds. Thinks he could just get him in here with the damage. Sharpshooter, though, is going to nuke down MSS. Quinn still idling, looking potentially to go back in, but will think better of it and backs away.
For the treasury.
Yeah, indeed. I think he had a couple of vessel charges, but he's going to be completely out of them now. Quinn looking for a kill onto Seb. There's a DK nearby, but there's also MSS. Range Dragon Form stun is going to be used here onto the Clockwork, as there's going to be the Ghost Shroud activated. Plenty of healing, but also amping the magic damage he's taking. Quinn easily getting the kill there. Might look for a +1 onto Saksa, as Ice Blast is going to be used for Lelis. Unfortunately, the Bushwhack just pushes him outside of the Ice Blast, but it's okay. Sharpshooter to secure the kill was ready for Topson. Yep.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Jamil, who, by the way, is just about to finish up now, has just finished off his Manta style. So he's got that secondary Dispel. Pretty similar cooldowns on these bad boys. What, 34? 28 seconds to the 30 seconds. Plenty of illusions. Double Dispel available for him. Is going to allow him to man up a little bit more here, especially versus this Bat Rider if he needs to. Yep. Helps him versus the Bat, or sorry, not the Bat Rider, versus the Clockwork if he's trapped in cogs with a hookshot. Also allows him to split push lanes like he's doing now. Great item for the Naga, of course. They're baiting Sumail. Oh.
Nice
They absolutely did. A really, really nice play out from the likes of OG. They know that Quinn is just going to be looking for these kills.
Is under attack.
And having a Naga Siren farming there, despite having a tier 1 that you can reinforce to very quickly, doesn't really matter that much to a Bat Rider, especially with a Blink Dagger. He was thinking he could get that kill very, very quickly, unfortunately. Just really nice placement by OG. And of course, a nice little Manta, or I guess, it was a mirror image dodge, wasn't it? Out from Sumail there, just to avoid the Earth Spike, in case there were more enemy heroes coming in.
Boom, there it goes.
Dire's
Oh, they missed.
under attack.
Got ya! Nah, it's not.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
What beat the odds? Blasting this one.
Not what you expected.
baby.
Yep, down he will go. Mid lane, though, in the meantime, Lelis in a bit of trouble. He's got plenty of Plague Wards down, but not going to do much to stop Seb, who will throw out that Reaper's Scythe and collect the kill onto Lelis. MSS, though, looking for revenge, as he is going to go ahead and put Cogs around Seb, now dragged back as Quinn completing the BOTs on over. Has at least the lasso back into the tower. Ice Blast out from No Tail is going to whiff. Sumail, though, is with the regen room, perhaps going to join this fight, as from behind comes LOA, lands the stun onto Saksa. He's going to come to regret that, however, as he will be grouped up on by 4 heroes and killed off just as easily as they took care of Lelis.
Tell me
Dire's
someone saw that.
structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
I will say, though, this has bought plenty of space and time for Yawar. Unfortunately, his farm is a little bit lackluster, as he's been kind of overshadowed just a little bit by Thompson. Just now about to finish up the Radiant. Still needs another 700 gold. That's top lane. Quinn is being ran down now by Saksa. Saksa, by the way, with the Blink Dagger on cooldown for 12 more seconds, as Quinn will blink through that Ice Blast and TP away unbothered.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, you got it.
Thompson?
Nah, it's
Okay, just trying to snipe the kill here onto Yawar. Will struggle to do that, although Thompson now trapped inside the cogs. Yawar going to go ahead and walk on over. Quinn has BOTs at the ready, but they're not even going to need him. Hookshot will be able to punish Thompson.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Lasso? Oh. I think it was just, he was facing the wrong way, so he had to turn around and then start the cast animation. Nice stun out from Saksa. I think...
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Death in a can.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are
Yeah, and at a great time to show up to fight as well for Yawar, who's just finished up, and in that fight reveals the Radiance is completed, so he's got plenty of damage. Of course, Naga Siren's dealing with that miss rate, and just great plays out from the Clockwork to make sure that they can secure all of these kills. The early kills, of course, refilling the vessel, use those for the kills onto Seb. Just great fight. They get the tier 1 tower, and this is going to open up the map here a little bit. We can already see Lelis setting up plenty of vision, just looking to get ready to fight.
Rock it on.
Oh my.
They are going to now try for Roshan, though. This is scouted, of course, pretty quickly by the Clockwork's Rocket Flare. Do we have the ultis to fight this? Lasso back in 20. There's probably not going to be a Venomous Gale on Fingers down for another minute. G, though, persistent, will go ahead and try and take this while they know that the ultis of Quincy are still recharging. Could be a smoke play out from Quincy as they will be heading on over. Counter smoke now from OG, as I believe they have actually scouted this smoke with the Observer Ward. Mal still chilling out in the Roche Pit, a little bit low on HP. Has now the Diffusal on top of that Manta style. Knocks into the heart here for the Naga Siren. Team smoked up, just willing to play it slow here. Quincy, of course, now with their ultis coming up one by one. We're just waiting for the Gale, or sorry, the Nova in 10 seconds, followed by Finger in a further 30. So it feels like OG has kind of lost the opportunity to get this Roche. Well, it's worked. Yawara is going to split off and continue farming top. Male is looking to do the same here with the Manta illusions now being used. He'll find a bounty for his trouble. Might just start farming up some Ancients here if he can't find anyone else. And it looks to be the case. Top. It's a buyback. There's a Hex onto Seb in the river here. Quinn with the Blink Lasso at the ready, but he's holding off. You know Sox is nearby with the Blink and Dragon Tail at the ready here. Would have to really play that carefully. Seb, of course, has the Lotus Orb at the ready, and we've seen some pretty nice Lotus Orb plays here from Seb 2 days ago when we last saw him here on the B stream.
Dire's top tower is
Earth Spike, Lasso, of course, right? Yeah. And the Dispel, pretty useful against a Gale, especially if you need to get rid of that Vessel debuff, which might be relevant here considering that Naga Siren, our Sumel Hassan brother, is going for that Heart of Tarask himself. Next item. Still hasn't committed for anything quite yet, so he still has the option to change it. Thompson just split pushing top lane. He's even got a Tinker Ward to cover himself here. Yeah, and actually, Quincy are still hunting for a squirrel up top lane. They might not know. They've used Rocket Flare up top, and OG know about it, so I think it's just everyone into the Roche Pit right now. Here comes the second Rocket Flare. I don't think it'll be fast enough here to stop them, as it would seem that they've just been hoodwinked by the squirrel of Thompson. He was getting their attention top lane, and in the meantime, OG will head right into the Roche Pit. The answer is yes. It's a resounding yes. They smoke and go for a fight.
Double damage. I rode a dragon.
Yep, now they can make some dragon scale tipped arrows for the anime later on. They may end up needing these. Top lane though. Oh, he BKB'd! He BKB'd!
Coin for me.
Radiant's middle tower is
Yeah,
under
it's
attack.
such a nice Aghanim Scepter, actually. just really amping all of that damage that you end up taking. And of course, with all this burst, even if, I mean, I guess the only count to this is going to be the Aeon discs eventually. Quincy, though, in the meantime, are going to be a little bit disappointed to have, revealed the Batrider BKB in such fashion. Unfortunately, didn't really last long. I only knew he used it because of the sound.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Splash once again, looking to set up for a kill onto Lelis this time, as they will connect. Also scouting MSS there with the projectile, but they won't be able to... Oh, maybe they will, actually. Sumail, with the heart completed and Aegis in hand, might look to go for a bit of a dive as he cuts the wave. TPs are coming, though, as they look to reinforce. Sox on the high ground, ready with the blink, as there's going to be the Gale onto one. Great stun, though, catching Sumail as he's trapped inside the cogs with all of his illusions. Lelis still alive as they find the right one with Yawar's stun, punching his brother in the face. But here comes Seb to secure the kill there with the Reaper Scythe onto Lelis. Sumail trying to escape, but Fingered will fall here. As now even Thompson scouted in the trees. Of course, nothing stops the sharpshooter, but he couldn't actually turn. There goes Thompson, killed off. Now as Yawar pops the BKB, another stun onto his brother. Saksa, in the meantime, is going to be saved. As Sumail looking to reset this fight with the Song of the Siren. Meantime.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, he did. This is a buyback.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, that was indeed very costly. Seb is making a good usage of the the Necrovos voice lines here in this game. Rough fight there for Quincy at the end of the day. Started off real nice, especially as they are able to get rid of this Aegis. Unfortunately for them, it just, at the end of the day, Sumail is just way too tanky then on his second life, as you do end up committing quite a few resources. The BKB, although it's a good one out from Yawar, it means he doesn't have BKB at ready for what's coming next. And the rest of his team, stuck in the Song of the Siren, aren't able to help him during that duration. So it was a great job canceling that long duration BKB using the Song of the Siren from Sumail.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Bottom, they're hunting Thompson again into the trees. Quinn actually used BKB for this. And Thompson looking to try and TP. There's no lasso, but hookshot is going to be there in time. LOA has the Hex at the ready and the finger, and he got the squirrel. And so far, it's been working out. The Hassan Bull, I would say Sumail is, well, with what, 4K more net worth than his older brother, pardon me. He's so far in a good position here. Just about to finish off the butterfly here and another 800 or so gold, as he will throw the ensnare. Seb nearby. Of course, the Radiance debuff is making them a bit more annoying. Quinn is able to pick off Saksa in the meantime, but there goes the first life. Ice Blast now being set up for the second one. He will get off the BKB. A hook shot from behind, out from MSS to try and reset this fight. Quinn has BOT'd in, but does not have the lasso. He used that for the kill onto the DK up top lane. Quincy are just going to look to retreat and wait out this reincarnation duration. There's LOA now with his shard, speaking of those, by the way.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
That's going to be, I mean, a difficult catch. Sumail, of course, without a BKB, but he still does have 2 dispels for himself. So one of the greatest ways you can still kill him, even a tanky hero now with the Heart of Taras and all this armor, would be the Bat Rider. But again, with double dispel, it's going to feel impossible to get these stacks of the napalm up to really ramp up your damage. And a Lotus. Smoke play here, coming out from both sides now. Quincy yet again looking to play the Wraith King bait game, but instead OG set up in their own jungle. Being on the high ground here, Seb in position to break smokes. They've got a ward as well, watching over this tier 2 area.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
We have hook shot. Well, it's overclocked though.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Another sharpshooter.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, 4 because the dieback there on the clockwork, I would argue. But what a way to reveal that Aghanim Scepter. Like I said in the draft, this is normally what you rush on the position for clockwork, and that's exactly the reason you do it. Sumail out of position once, and then he's just going to be perma-stunned into his death. His team zoned out by those cogs after a great buyback into the hook shot. That's just always such a threat because you can hook shot in from outside of the Song of the Siren range, as we saw. Made it just impossible for OG to cleanly back away, despite having one of the best disengage tools in the entire game.
I'll take that.
Yeah, initially a really nice aggressive dive out from the likes of OG as well. But it's really the buyback on the clockwork that turns this one around. You can see, like, as soon as that buyback comes through, Song is very quick to come out, but they just know that they can't just start TPing away straight away. That's simply not an option for them here. And yeah, just dividing and conquering. Seb unable to apply the Lotus to save his ally, and that's going to be Sumail taking a pretty costly death here.
Get a bit caught up here?
Smoke up again. Good jump. Instead, they're going to look for these backliners. Fortunately for them, OG are retreating and covering their backliners pretty darn nicely. Saksa, it might end up working. Second Roche is up. The Quincy Crew, they find themselves on the high ground. They'll know that hookshot came from the other side now. Is their Song of the Siren to try and reset the fight, but you are quick on the BKB, trying to burst through Seb. He's going to get the 4-staff, and now both the Ghost form away to make sure he can survive. Brute will hold down Lelis for a while. Seb looking to now reinitiate. Lelis popping the BKB, looking to zone away the Necro, though, for now. As Sumail fighting the zombies, skeletons, will not be able to get his way up back into the triangle. Zombie skeletons, they come back. It's no Song. Yeah. Yeah, we don't have lasso. We don't have lasso. We don't have BKB. We've got BKB for Quinn, though. He held onto it during that fight. Tops are just... Thompson TP'd out. Thompson TP to the tier 1 in the middle of that fight. The Lion blinked right up into his face, and I didn't see if he's... I guess LOA must have not had stuns, but he just knew there was no lasso, so even though the Bat Rider was right on top of him, he just TPs to the tier 1, and he's right back in the fight anyway, thanks to the Scurry charges.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Who took a shard, by the way? Seen it on anyone yet? Okay, that makes sense. See it. No Tail's got a suspicious amount of farm, I will say, especially for an AA. Good point. Good point. Top lane, Quinn and Thompson fighting.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Ice Blast.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, I'm just watching this replay now over from that last little engagement. Hookshot having to be used there just to try and counter-initiate, maybe save the first life of Yawar. It means that they didn't have it to contest Roche, so that's why Sumail's not in this fight. But yeah, Thompson just realizing LOA didn't have a stun for me. There's no way that lasso's off cooldown. I'm just going to TP to the tier 1 tower. He lives through a 4-second TP while the Bat Rider's just trying to burn him alive.
Dire's bottom tower
Yeah,
is under
because
attack.
you do have good save, but with MSS now having that overclock available, Quinn can basically just abduct someone into your base. MSS is going to be able to stop any, reinforcements from saving them. LOA as well, ready to counter-initiate. And can, of course, can handle with the illusion push that Naga's going to be bringing. Setting up vision top lane. Once again, it's a squirrel hunting party here. So that's what they're hoping for with these Nature's Prophets or Tinker Wards. Yeah. And he's tanky too. I mean, a lot of this does come from the Minotaur Horn, but he's got a Kaya and Sanj. He's got power treads. Okay, mid lane. Again, we're just still hunting for the squirrel up top lane. Patience will pay off, though, because Thompson has just TP'd on up.
Scanning.
Okay. Saksa has Ag, so basically now an additional core to the likes of OG, and he's going to be able to, of course, fly right over these trees now using the power of Slayerak. In he goes, but he's going to be surprised to find 3 heroes here. 3 heroes, though, that can't quite kill the dragon. And here's Thompson now to reinitiate. Quinn and MSS just looking to TP out, and it's going to have to be Lion falling for the sins of his allies, as Sumail utilizing the song, hoping to catch any late TPers, will be unable to do so. That's just going to be the Lion dead. I believe that is a dieback, though. Yeah, it looks like it for LOA. By the way, Sumail picked up an Illusion Escape. He's got Swift Blink now. Yep, Sushka Spectre with that plus, 34% Haunt Illusion talent already? Yeah. Oh, goodness. Yeah, and the reason we're seeing this now is because we don't have the Lion. The Lion is the way to stop this from happening. Look, they even vesseled the illusions just to make sure they could get the tower. Or sorry, Guardian Greaves, my bad. Okay, oh, the Lotus. There's the overclock. MSS is just not going to be able to find anything here. 80 seconds now without Quinn. As again, Seb just way too fast. Quinn finds himself just basically stunned and instantly killed, even through his BKB. KB delivered, but mid lane of Barracks already down and out. Tops in. Oh, was hoping for the kill onto LOA with the sharpshooter. Might as well. He's got, oh, he got rid of the quickening charm actually, but short cooldown anyway in the ulti. Might as well try for it.
Dire's top tower has fallen. Dire's top tower has fallen.
Oh. Oh, in goes OG.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Yeah, well, what a way to go out as well, as Yawar ends up dying to the illusions of his younger brother inside of the fountain. Absolutely nothing he could do about it there towards the end of the game. Really, really strong game out from OG. So far, it looks like, what was it, January 2nd's tweet out from
sleep. Something's gonna bring the change. Journeys we are meant to take. Something at the edge of space, calling us to fly away. Don't you be afraid, everything will change. You and I, jumping off the edge. They say dreamers never die. So come and fly, come and fly, come and fly away with me. We're rising, we're falling, we're making moves. We're climbing, we're soaring, 1,000 views. We're rising, we're falling, we're making moves. We're climbing, we're soaring, 1,000 views. Come and fly away, come and fly away, come and fly away with me. Come and fly away, come and fly away, come and fly away with me. Something's gonna bring the change. Journeys we are meant to take. Something at the edge of space, calling us to fly away.
I mean, I know you said it, but just to highlight that a bit more compared to other combos, compared to other off-laners that do give you a lot of the same amounts of control, like a Mars, like a Tidehunter would be, this is going to scale beautifully throughout the entire game. Plus, you've got an insane amount of healing now if we decide to go for the Holy Locket build on this Phoenix with Sunray, so it could potentially turn into something pretty crazy. This is also going to dissuade from another popular pick that we tend to see for basically, we saw it a ton at the Major, and that's going to be the Winter Wyvern, right? Another really powerful counter-initiation tool. It feels really weak to pick the Wyvern into the Phoenix, because usually Phoenix can just set up a Supernova outside of the Winter's Curse AoE. If there's someone Cold Embrace, he just sets up the Sun Ray onto them, and they don't have any Sun Block. They don't have the chance in the Cold Embrace, so they just get burnt alive.
Exactly. But you can pick it together with the Phoenix. The only issue is then you're going to have an issue of catch, right? And Quincy Crew could punish that with, say, a Storm hit. They go for the Abaddon. Okay, already setting up for this idea. Nice little save. And we saw yesterday Viking GG, right? Running a similar lineup. What was it? Abaddon with...
Lesh, I believe.
With Lesh, yeah. It was with Lesh. But what was the carry that they were playing, though, in that game? They ended up playing... Was it that carry Doom game?
It was. Was it? I know they did play a
Oh,
carry
no,
Shad
that
Doom.
was against the... No, that was against the Darkseer.
It was.
That was against the Darkseer. Wait 1 second. I'll tell you in a second.
Sure.
'Cause I remember seeing this combo yesterday from Viking GG against Gambit. It was the Abaddon together with the Lifestealer, actually.
That's
It wasn't to deal with the Phoenix, but it was a similar idea against a Tide, just to completely cancel him. Could be an option here. I mean, Lifestealer is much better against Axe, even if you can catch him with the Berserker's Call. Works really nicely with Abaddon for obvious reasons. But no, it's going to be more of an NA Classic, the Luna instead. Yep. OG knows how to counter this Luna. Your biggest asset is Luna is your movement speed. If you counter that with Surge, you put yourself in a pickle. And now we see the carry Axe coming into play.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's the right call to make because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can proc counter Helix on all instant attacks, which Luna's Moonglaves do count as. So you have the chance to be spinning quite a bit, even aggressively, and of course discounting even when the Manta and Shard timing comes through from the Axe. You're going to be able to tear through this teamfight rather quickly. Of course, Axe can dunk through everything, so Abba does need to be a bit careful on his HP if he's not going to trigger the ulti preemptively. And it's also a really strong pick versus if this is to be an offlane DK, which it looks like it is, unless you want to throw it mid. Axe does nicely in this lane as well. DK gets a lot of his harass out just through right clicks alone and being tanky, but he's not going to be so tempted to do that versus all the pure damage that this Axe will be throwing out. In fact, I want to say this is something OG, of course they knew this before, but this is something they experienced firsthand yesterday as they were playing into the ILTW Axe with the DK in that offlane.
True, and another point in favor of the Axe carry here is that he's honestly the best, well, not the best, but one of the best IG carry destroyers, because usually they don't tank up as much until later parts of the game. Like if you go for any sort of strength item early on the Luna, for example, you're gonna slow down your farm as a result, right? You want to be a bit of a glass cannon so you can farm faster and then proceed to get more stats. Axe punishes that so hard because, as you said, the pure damage. In addition to the fact that Berserker's Call is undispellable, so Abaddon won't do anything with that against that. That you add to the fact that Darkseer can help you initiate, so you might not even need to rush that blink and go for Manta much more reliably. OG, I mean, this draft I actually like a lot. I want to see how Quincy responds to this. They need some percentage damage. I think that would be a good idea actually to deal with the Axe. I like the Death Prophet a lot as an idea.
I do as well, actually. The
Nice.
issue...
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, for Quincy, I feel like because it's now an Axe carry, and you're playing into what is some pretty mean initiation here. It's a lot of like skill-dependent initiation with a hook shot, a vacuum, and an Axe, but it's all really, really strong if they do connect. It scares me a little bit because our best counter initiation is just having Abba in front to tank things, but OG are just going to play around him, or proc the ulti and then ignore him in the fights.
OG need a mid laner right now, by the way, for setting up. For getting some space here. What do you think you could run here? Because so OG is assuming the DK will be flexed into mid. So do you pick up something against that? Do you hard commit into that idea?
Trying to think of a Thompson here on this mid lane that can fulfill that.
If it's against a DK, I was actually thinking the Pugna would be an interesting idea, but
yeah, it's a bit scary, isn't it? Because then, of course, with the last
into
pick,
the mid game, I think that's kind of weak.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we see Thompson snap. That's another good idea for DK. I mean, a good hero would honestly just be something like a Razor. Tiny? Certainly not what I was expecting. I don't disagree with the idea for a bit more burst. I mean, it suits your lineup very well. I think there's ways to deal with it. I think DK can hold his own nicely against a Tiny, until you hit enough levels, of course.
Yeah, that's true. So it gives Quincy the option of picking a bespoke offlaner should they choose, and I think OG, of course, at the time when they were banning Tiny was probably one of the options they were considering.
Okay,
accounted for
there's
that.
the percentage damage. Yep, that's good. I like that very much.
Once again, a Doom versus a Darkseer matchup, right? So we could look for that Satyr creep and go for the Purge in order to try and buy some space for your Luna. Doom versus an Axe. Still pretty strong, of course, once he has the Shard. We will need something to... Actually, you can't break... No, you can break that because it's added to the counter Helix.
You break the counter Helix completely. So the Axe is a good idea here for sure to deal with the Axe. It's a consideration at some point. You have the Infernal Blade percentage damage against Tiny and Axe. In fact, Doom is really great because he has a huge HP pool, so this amount of damage, like you have no physical source of damage or no large physical source of damage, right? So the Doom HP pool essentially protects you from the Iron Shell, from the Avatars, from the Berserker's Call. Doom farms fast, so he's one of the better pipe carriers in the game, and that will cancel the Tiny to a degree. I like this pickup a lot. I think Quincy really fixed up their draft here towards the end. I mean, they kind of got bamboozled here with the Axe carry, but I honestly like the Quincy Crew draft this time.
Yeah, I do as well. I think at the end of the day, we're just going to be a little bit too tanky. Obviously, MSS is going to be minced meat. They're going to hunt him especially easily. Tiny, or Topson, when he does get his Blink Dagger, is going to be looking for kills primarily onto him. Because if he looks for Yawar, he's going to find that Yawar is going to be a little bit too protected. The Kingsguard have mutinied, and you know they've got a great kind of Kingsguard for the would-be usurper here with the Abba. So it's going to be difficult to try and jump him. But that's kind of a similar story as well for this Doom, for this DK. They're incredibly tanky. This does kind of make the Phoenix pick feel stronger, but it's still, you know, a while until we're going to be feeling those rays of Sunny D, you know, really do all the damage.
In fact, the Shard here is huge value for the Phoenix this game, as you mentioned, because I think it's so powerful to have him on the to have the Sunray this game in general. Hell, you might even consider building a vessel at some point, like a Clock or Phoenix. Not bad vessel builders this game. Yeah, the Abaddon, maybe not.
Yeah, it's a position 5 Phoenix, so he's going to be a bit restricted on his farm for no-tail. If it was a 4 Phoenix, I wouldn't mind throwing it a little bit back to the Singapore Major, where we saw a lot of carries, or sorry, position 4 Phoenixes kind of just go straight into Refresher. You know, 4 Sunrays in a fight is pretty bonkers, especially with this many heroes, that it is going to start melting. And Luna, who has good attack speed and a crappy range, is going to be hard pressed to either commit or run away from a supernova. It's a hard decision to make in the crunch of the battle.
I agree with your point though that you're saying earlier. Like, Luna has a good King's Guard, Queen's Guard, I guess.
Queen's
in this
Guard,
case.
yeah.
Queen's Guard for Luna. You know, she can do her terror stacks as the DK. Oh wow, this is really going against the anime idea, huh? But she has good protecting cores in the Doom and the DK. Cores that can easily go in. I feel like Abaddon can do the same thing. The save here is not really that great. Your save is really just against the hookshot, perhaps. Maybe the Avalanche to some degree. But at least you have some healing from the Abaddon. This is a game where SVG could consider the Holy Locket himself just to amp that healing. But I do like the draft overall by Quincy. I think both drafts are pretty solid. I just feel like this time Quincy has been able to adapt to OG's draft much better.
30 seconds to battle.
Yeah, I'd concur with that. I think that makes a lot of sense. Because last time, I think I didn't really see the draft's problems until Sumail was, you know, just shoving all of the illusions down into the lanes. Then it was obviously a little bit apparent, and by then Quincy just weren't in a position to do anything about it. I think this time they've given themselves a pretty nice out of this game. As we'll see Sumail the King go versus the Abba, who's yet to put a scope on anything. There it is now with the Aphotic Shield. But it's 3 runes here for the likes of OG. They will be unable to get through this Abba, though. It's a little bit too tanky. But nice right-click speed there. Fast hands on Sumail.
Since it's early, I want to point out this really small play by No-Tail that I loved. He purposely missed his first Fire Spirit to trigger the Aphotic Shield, right? Because he was trying to like be on point and thinking, I'm not moving, he's definitely not going to miss it. Purposely misses the first one because he gets dispelled anyway. Immediately hits him with the second one right after, and he couldn't dispel it. Yeah, small things, but I like that. I like that idea. I also like the offensive dual lane. Abaddon, traditionally one of the best dual lane cores, or supports rather, ever, honestly. And he deals really well with the Axe, deals nicely with the Phoenix as well. I think he's actually quite a hard counter, and that way you get the Doom versus Darkseer matchup, which is the ideal matchup for Lelis. Especially if you find the Purge Creep, there's no way he's dying here.
Yeah, Lelis is going to be going into this Midas build here, presumably on the Doom. At least that's what he's queued up here in his quick buy. We'll see here if that changes as the lane continues to develop. Mid lane, not going to be too exciting here. Topson, of course, is without the toss, isn't going to have a whole lot of kill threat. But top lane, there's some kill threat onto No-Tail, because they will be able to punish him for taking the level 1 Fire Spirit. Sumail even taking a bit of extra damage.
It's going to be... I mean, I think as Axe, you actually don't need to dominate the lane if you're carry, because you recover quite nicely as well. But it does suck a bit that you're up against a ranged hero and you don't feel that you could take advantage of your strong early game here. And the Abaddon is also not a hero that Axe likes to deal with once you have the Curse. I like that he went for the 1 point and Curse. Yesterday we saw Celery, for example, going full heal, and I appreciate how kind of person Celery is, and he wants to just help his teammates, but I think the Curse is really valuable against any melee lane. Oh, he took a last hit there. SVG, no, your
SVG,
shield took a
no.
last hit. What is this?
How dare you?
How dare you?
Need all the farm we can get on this Luna. Yeah, I like it here. It is going to put a lot of pressure onto No-Tail. Of course, it's going to force him to trade a little bit less than he would like to. Of course, Phoenix always able to get kind of the last laugh with the Icarus dive as Sumail. Got to be a little bit careful here. Otherwise, thinking about going back for that 4th stack for the curse, but we'll think better of it. As,
there's that thought process where like, oh, if I hit him, I'll hit him even faster. Oh, but then he'll spin even more.
Then he'll spin. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the
Oh,
thing.
but now he's going to die. Sumail for free? I genuinely just went back for it, and SVG, that Orb of Venom, it's punished him pretty hard here, giving so much space to Yawar. And yeah, it's true that you that you can recover, but the idea is not to die in the lane, unfortunately. Sumail doesn't have the highest armor early, so the damage from the Luna and the Abaddon really does pile up. Really good base damage and an Abaddon.
Yep, both of these slows being incredibly annoying. Yawar, not like this is too bad of a lane for him anyway. You know, very similar to something like a Timbersaw lane. You don't mind using all of your mana on Lucent Beams just to be able to harass and get Sumail within that kill range. Thompson already utilizing the toss here versus Quinn. But Quinn, 2 points into the Dragon's Blood here. He's gone now for 1-1-2. It was 0-1-2 at level 3 for him. Bottom, they are fighting though versus Lelis.
Yeah. Oh, the vacuum sends him back, and Lelis might just die to the Seb, just in range of the Iron Shell. That's a bit too fast. No, creeps are coming for him.
Oh, no,
the creeps are attacking Lelis. You ate my brother, now you must die. Seb will fall though to the acorn shot from MSS, but that was quite the revenge of the creeps. The Scorched Earth triggered all the aggro around the area.
Yeah, Lelis got ganked by the neutrals right there, which wasn't expected, unfortunately, for him.
Finally, some justice. Doom's eating creeps every year. They never get any retribution.
It is at the very least a deny. So, you know, it's not the best news for Lelis. They are able to get the kill onto Seb. But it's not too bad either, because he's going to be able to get the free TP on back. He doesn't have to use any of these tangos, and without a healing salve, he would have been pretty low HP for the rest of the laning stage, which is not what you want versus this Darkseer Clock lineup. The top lane, though, No-Tail does not have the Icarus dive, but LOA just doesn't have the HP here, as the glaives that you are throwing here, triggering a couple of these spins, are more than enough to almost completely kill the Abba.
Oh, but so since Yawar is still having a pretty nice farming lane, you know, and definitely he's a bit faster a farmer than the Axe. I don't think it's too worrisome right now. The onus right now for OG, I think, stands on a really strong Thompson that did win his lane against the DK, and will now start to gank all over the map as he likes to do. Oh, Thompson's actually considering a Midas here. Interesting. As per usual, you look at whatever Thompson's building and you go, oh, okay. Maybe he's looking to be like a secondary option for a carry in case the Axe doesn't work out, you know, instead of a Tempo Tiny, being able to rotate into being a true carry in the late game. I don't mind this with a Shard build.
You know, I kind of want to think that, you know, Quincy swapped the lanes here, of course, going for the Luna versus the Axe of Sumail. And they asked, hey, do you want to switch these lanes? And Sumail went, nah, it's okay, I'll just beat him.
Yeah. It might be. Yeah. It's actually a true brother against brother lane.
It is, yeah. And I mean, good denies though on Yawar. I think that's what that tip was about. Must have gotten a deny on the range creep. Our Tiny though is looking for a gank. He will be hard pressed to connect this one because he is sitting underneath a freshly placed Quincy Observer Ward. So he's going to go ahead and rotate back to the mid lane. Take Grow at level 6, by the way, here for our Tiny.
Interesting. Again, not like a ganking Tiny. Wait, Sumail in the top lane could be in front. I don't think he's going to die here. No-Tail's here to cover him. Nice Spirit, and Sumail should be fine. In fact, SVG now in trouble, but has the magic stick. We're not going to die to the Spirits either. So yeah, Thompson's going for like almost a carry Tiny for the mid lane. Playing it more like a win condition, probably allowing Sumail to be more of the tempo controller this game, and the space creator, we can call him. I think that works out, honestly. I think carry Axe is best played when you play him with tempo, so I don't mind that. And Tiny could mitigate your weakness in the late game. As I said, Tiny Shard, honestly, a legitimate carry.
So
they played it in China once.
What do you think we're going to see then? Do you think this is going to be like a throwback to the TI9 Tinies going for that Echo Saber Ags into the Daedalus, or like what?
No, I think it's the carry Tiny that we saw in China a while ago. I mean, not with a Midas added, but like the S and Y. Maybe probably still a Blink Dagger, but like and get by the shard as soon as you can. And just play like a normal strength core, honestly. That's what I'm thinking. And it's all Karass eventually. Like the IO Tiny, you know, back in those days when the IO Tiny was a thing. I think that's how you're going to build it.
Okay, I like the idea of that, then. We'll
But
see how
it's
it works
Thompson,
out.
so it could just be Midas E-Blade. I mean, knowing him. Right?
Yeah, good point. Good
Yeah,
point.
so-
MSS is going to find himself in a bit of trouble here. We've got now still no cogs actually ready for him, but they won't even need it with the vacuum pulling him back into his death. Double ion shell level 3 now, quickly tearing through the squirrel.
Alright. It's an easy kill, obviously, at MSS. Not much you can do against Darkseer. I mean, honestly, anything that can catch you in the trees pretty much kills you. So the vacuum is quite crucial. Breaks your scurry as well.
Alright, King has already moved into the jungle here, farming up a couple of stacks. Yaba's going to be here just to soak a little bit of the experience. There he is, now up to level 4. But with that Vanguard completed, there's not really such an easy way to kill this Axe right now, unless you get an Eclipse onto him.
SVG just running in and out. There's only one true king. Actually joking. One true king. Oh, no. Keeps trying to harass here, Samael. Taking away the experience, kind of
Dire's
important,
middle tower
honestly.
is under attack.
As SVG does. I mean, he just gets a free level from this. You compare his levels to the Phoenix, who's trying to sap the experience in the lane. Kind of even. No Tail trying to protect this tower, but might die as a result. No
Oh, he's
Tail.
got Icarus
He has
dive.
Icarus dive, but Bushwhack, Lucent Beam on top of that. They're chaining their stuns well. No Tail a bit too fast. Will get away.
Yeah, they...
Bottom lane, Lelis in trouble. He does have a Doom, and sorry, he used the Doom on Saksa, and will get the kill as a result. SVG even comes in here to heal him back up.
Quinn, though, still
As
chasing
Seb
Seb.
could be in trouble. We have a Dragon Tail available. For now, slowing him down. Seb has the Surge, and now ready. TPs instead. Do they have enough damage to punish this?
Fools.
No, they don't. Seb gets back home.
Even the
with
neutral's
a sliver
helping
of
out
life.
there. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
going to be able to escape. They will eventually catch up to No-Tail back top lane, so they do punish him not having that Icarus dive at the ready. This does allow Luna to then cut the wave and start applying some pressure into this top lane. The nice part about switching and kind of going aggro with your carry in the side lane is that you've already made the rotation, right? So this is normally where Luna would want to be at this stage of the game. Farming the jungle a little bit, sure, but then eventually looking to push back top lane as there goes Thompson, finding the Avatos kill there onto LOA. That's going to be just him. Well, smart rotation. He has a ward here, so he might have seen him eventually start walking on over in that direction, but no ward there for the vision. Just a nice kill.
Noctil? I mean, the amount of time that Noctil's spending on the top lane and preventing them from just having a free push, it's actually kind of useful for his team. It's giving his team a bit of liberty to go and gank and do other stuff in other lanes. The problem, though, is that if he keeps dying, he's just also giving them a free creep. MSS.
Doesn't have Icarus
Yeah.
dive.
There's Acorn shot still available. Oh, maybe this was a bait the whole time. We're seeing a rotation. No, Noctil's already dead.
Thompson's here.
But Thompson's here. Kills the courier. And might also kill a carry. On top of that, Samael has the Berserker's Call. Oh, nice bushwhack though, but Yawar might just die. Hit Samael one extra time. And that canceled Yawar's life.
Leslau.
Zaxa finds Lelis, by the way. Oh no, it's not going to be easy for Leslau to get away. And he's going to die here. Simple Iron Shell, Wall Replica even set up. Quinn and MSS coming in. The reinforcements going for Saksa. They stun the Clockwork. Just go through the wall. Escape thanks to the slow. Saksa gets hit by the bushwhack. No chance. He's going to die as well.
Seb, by the way, is going for the very classic Darkseer build here. Just going Vanguard, not too rare of an item, and a great one to have, of course, versus the Luna. Then straight into the Crimson Guard, so he is prepping for some earlier engagements, hoping to keep his foot on the gas versus the likes of Quincy Crew, making sure that this Luna is not going to be able to outscale. I think the game plan this time around for Quincy is that if they can take this late game, they'd be more than happy to do so. They're probably looking at this lineup that OG has and going, oh yeah, Luna late game will absolutely crush these guys. They just got to get there. OG are of course, going to do everything in their powers to stop that from happening. As here's Midas now being delivered to Thompson. He is queuing up the Blink Dagger next, so still looking to be able to accelerate his farm through a couple of Blink, Avatosses.
We'll see how this works out for them. This deviation from the build. It honestly might just completely lose them the tempo and also the late game if Tiny can't make it. Because the Blink Dagger will be much more delayed. But
Yeah.
I think the idea is pretty solid. As you play with the Axe tempo a bit more, right? Because you go Blink Vanguard on the Axe, or actually he's going to go for the Yasha straight up. And then that way you play maybe around the 20-minute mark. Tiny is not going to gank too much early. You don't have great ganking partners, so instead you spend this time farming.
Smokes break.
I think the
No-Tail.
logic checks out.
Oh, no-Tail. Just Icarus dives right into MSS, unfortunately. He will be taken down. Breathe fire, killing the Phoenix, as he will go down just like he was born in flames.
But meanwhile, you know, I feel like N0tail is pressured here because he's like, okay, my mid is farming, my carry's farming, my offlaner's farming. I need to create space. But since you're just a Phoenix, what you need to do is just die for that space.
Yep. Blocks a camp while he's at it, at least.
Not bad. I mean, the tier 1's still up top, so that's N0tail's job done.
Yeah, we've not pushed any towers yet for the likes of OG. Topson now with Midas. This bonus attack speed is really, really nice to have on a Tiny. Unsurprisingly, a hero with 0 agi gain does benefit quite a bit from bonus attack speed items. And with the trees, that is going to allow them to have some pretty significant tower damage in, as Leslau making haste here towards that DD rune. We'll think better of it because searched up is Topson. He will be able to beat him there. DD in the bottle now for the mid lane Tiny.
Hook shot. They find the squirrel, but MSS still trying to get away. Nice little bushwhack. Epica's annoying him as the scurry goes to the trees, but Glock's too fast. That surge. MSS using the sharpshooter to get away. He'll survive thanks to the Phonic Shield, and the punished one will be Saksa. Nice little Phonic Shield there towards the end, and very well played MSS. Quick thinking in the sharpshooter.
Yeah, Quinn as well was sitting on 2k gold, had the BKB queued up, but decided to go proactively into the blink instead. I like this a lot. We'll see here if OG can look to punish it. Topson still has this DD rune in the bottle, holding onto it as N0tail. Icarus diving aggressively, perhaps just for vision, holding on to that supernova, deciding against dropping it here and now. Yuar is in the vicinity, so he could look to join these fights, but does not have the point in Eclipse. So wouldn't be much value here in a team fights other than the right-click damage and the occasional Lucent Beam. Quincy then will acquiesce the mid lane tower. Those OG happy with their progress here. We'll move into the jungle and look to boot the Luna.
Yeah, take over the Luna's jungle completely. More importantly, also swap jungles. Take over the much more valuable Radiant jungle, because now naturally Quincy will have to, if they want to regain the jungle, it's kind of impossible, and you can still put 1 or 2 useful wards on top like they're doing here, and OG can regain control of their own. Hook shot actually read well by Quinn. Not gonna catch up to this guy. This guy plays Ember Spirit. What are you thinking?
Yeah, and that was all thanks to this Observer ward here. Saksa thinking he's got a ward up on the high ground. A good guess. He might decide to ferry out a couple more sentries, because there's no way he just makes that blink like that off of the sound cue alone.
Did you see him pinging all over the place? Like, there's a ward here or here. They're using so many sentries. They can't find this ward. Sometimes the best hiding spot is just in plain sight, huh?
Very true. It's pretty common.
Out of the outpost, like just barely out of the range of the outpost.
It's a super common ward spot, though. I've been watching tons of replays and keeping an eye on warding. Usually the most contested ward spots are right here on the cliff, and then the second one that they like to put wards in is going to be right here next to the outpost. This one is just simply dewarded too often, and this one's a bit sneakier, and it feels a little bit awkward to put a sentry right there next to your outpost to protect it.
Quincy's got to watch those replays too, because they didn't guess this, and the ward is going to expire. Ended up being pretty... Sorry, OG's got to watch those replays, what I meant to say.
That's where...
As Quincy take advantage of that, and DK's alive, continues to farm. They're going to need for him to become a secondary carry too, if Tiny and Axe will both beef up themselves.
Yep. We sometimes see, by the way, just continuing to talk about wards, I guess. Welcome to the ward segment of this cast. We sometimes see the same done here on the in the Radiant side, but the trees are a little bit worse, and this staircase is not as frequently accessed by Radiant heroes compared to the Dire double staircase here, as they are going to be able to just escape in time here, making sure that they're not going to lose anyone out from the jungle as Quincy look to reestablish control.
Not to flame, of course. We were just joking about those warding
spots.
No,
of course.
In the middle of the game, having to guess, like you just see that hook shot, you go, where is it? You know, you just use 2 sentries. It's not that big a deal.
Yep.
They probably know. They just don't think about it in the heat of the moment. They are players after all. We have full vision. It's much easier to call these things out. There's going to be a smoke coming out from the OG. Let's see what they can find with this. Topson now with his Blink Dagger, ready for his power spike. But he has to find someone to use it, right?
Right now, holding bottom are just the 2 supports who Quincy Crew will gladly just, sacrifice if they need to. Topson with the blink will find Lellis. Avatos in place as there's going to be now the Supernova on top. Hook shot out from Saksa. Catches Topson and not the Devil. But they will be able to smack the Devil out of him there with that last tree out from Topson to secure the kill.
Well done. That kill pretty valuable, honestly, because Doom, highest net worth, honestly, in the game. He went for the Midas build as well, so you punish him before he gets that BKB, slow on that BKB. The old 11 build that he popularized, really, in the major. He always ran with this in the leagues.
Oh, hold that thought. That blink from Quinn is going to be able to stop the Icarus dive first. Bushwhack here is going to secure the kill, along with that sharpshooter. Kill goes to Quinn. Seb has got nothing left to do, but just surge himself away out of the enemy jungle. The ward did get placed down. We'll see if this is scouted and de-warded here by Quincy Crew. LOA is going to miss the initial ward, unfortunately for him. And that probably means this ward is going to live. But there is now Sumail finishing off not only the Vanguard, but this Manta style. We'll see what he queues up next, whether it'll be the Blink or that Aghanim Shard to purchase that one right at the 20-minute mark, as he's already using these illusions to farm in the enemy jungle a bit.
I think you queue up both and you see, depending on timings, right? Because if you can buy Blink beforehand and you feel like Shard is only a minute off, sure. But if for some reason you decide to fight now, and it doesn't really work out for you, or you lose a bit of gold, you're farming slower than you'd expect, and you just go straight for the Shard instead to recover. I still think you have enough time to farm the Blink, though. It's not that expensive. And Axe with Manta style, even without the Shard, farms crazy fast.
Absolutely. Speaking of farming fast, Topson is going into this Echo Saber, so I wonder if we are going to see this Aghanim Scepter eventually get queued up here.
Yeah, is the Midas... Okay, so maybe the Midas not to change builds whatsoever, but just to match the timings on Axe instead. Which I might even like more. You know, like a complete shift from the build is more exciting, obviously, as a caster, but when you see this, it's like, it's playing to the strengths of your draft. Acknowledging that Quincy Crew is not going to fight you early. You don't have someone to go ganking with. What do you do with the extra gold? Do you buy drums? Just go for the Midas and ensure that you have some late game progression. I'm okay with that too.
Mm-hmm. And if there's one thing I do remember from TI9 2 years ago now, it's the ridiculous amounts of damage this tiny axe did end up doing. And even to these tanky strength heroes might be enough to just get them killed. Of course, the slow is as well still procs. They removed it from the Monkey King Wukong's command, but it still works on the tiny Aghanim Scepter tree volley.
Oh, they go for SVG here. As they lose the tower, though, SVG happy to die for this tower. If they can actually get it, yeah, Dragon Poison will do the trick. Quinn staying to the very end, and blinking just in time.
Shub, Quincy, they do smoke for that one, but it's not really anything too big. Too big of a loss there. Soxa digs up a bounty rune and has his king pick it up, of course.
That's adorable. Look at that respect they have for Sumail.
For you, my liege.
I am but a humble support.
Thompson, I mean, he's making really great progress. He's already now got the Oblivion Staff. So again, more attack speed. What, a bonus 50 attack speed now on the Tiny. It's weird to see him attacking this fast without a Wisp.
Yeah, he walked in. He's like, I'm an Infernal Blade Sumail, but let's not push this any further until my teammates come in.
Real quick, Lelis, of course, with the Purge Creep consumed. So he's going to be digesting that one, I think, for the rest of the game.
Okay, Doom immediately for Sumail. Good choice, honestly, activates the BKB. They try to toss him to safety. Seb, on the run away, giving him the surge. Immediately purged by Lelis. He was waiting for that. He knew that was going to happen, and that guarantees the kill on Sumail. Where's the tip, Lelis? Where's the offended spray?
Not from him yet. You're down one game versus OG. You don't start to try and tilt them now. If anything, that usually just powers them up, and it turns the anime music up to 11.
Yeah. Smoke here from Quincy Crew.
Still a DD on Quinn. This could be bad for OG. It's Thompson will break the smoke here. Quinn, though, with no vision, doesn't have anyone to jump onto. We'll see Thompson, though, in the smoke. We have a hook shot out from Soxa, as well as actually the Supernova. Buyback available on Sumail. He's going to hold it for now as the vac catches 3. Yawar, though, pops the BKB, and now the Eclipse Creep Wave, though, soaking it up, as there's going to be now the Supernova onto the high ground. Yawar going to hit this one, and along with his team, will be able to dispatch of the egg. In the meantime, they've also lost Soxa, and Seb, without a surge, is easy pickings here for the likes of Quincy Crew. Leslau, the only one to go down in that engagement.
Yawar on point with his targeting there. Thompson. Okay, they actually might still go for him. They just dispelled the Battle Hunger. Sumail avoided Dragon Tail. Well done. Still caught SVG with that Berserker's Call. No big deal. Yeah, so the idea of using the Eclipse to cover himself while he was hitting the egg from the low ground, very, very smart there by Yawar. And even the Glaze ended up killing some of the supports. OG had no way to murder him there because he knew he had just wasted their big combo. Well played. That was a very consistent play.
Yeah, I like it. It's going to be a big win. Unfortunately, without the ultis and Elder Dragon form ending, they're not going to be able to turn this into objective, whether that be a tier 2 or Roshan. But it's the nice play of aggression. It's the opportunistic smoke, right? Where hey, we just got a kill. We used a couple of ultis. Their counter initiation's really weak right now. Let's go and look for an extra +1, an extra +2. Works out beautifully for Quincy Crew. They extend their network lead just to a friendly little 3K here. They're going to have to be a bit careful. What that also does, by the way, is it buys them time for Lelis to get his Doom back online. It's 20 seconds compared to if they don't fight right now, OG likely group up and look to fight around the cooldown of Doom. They just don't have that option anymore.
Yeah, and because of that fight, you also delayed the Blink Dagger a bit further on Sumail. I mean, you just got the Shard instead, like I said, right? If you feel like you can't farm the Blink Dagger in time, you have to go for recovery. Shard is better, it improves your farming speed, but this delays the time where you can fight even further, right? And oh, okay, Thompson is going to be going for SNY, by the way, so some mix, somewhere in between of what we were saying.
It's the ultra scaling,
both.
isn't it? Right? It's of course Echo Saber because it's a great farming item, especially on Tiny. It's got a lot of use for that doubled attack. SNY because of course Sanj is pretty busted, especially because the healing that you receive from Sunray is going to be buffed not only by this eventually Holy Locket, but also buffed by your own Sanj. And being a tanky hero, that's a lot of HP, that's a lot of healing, and we don't have the best burst to be honest for you. Thompson's not going to be dying within, you know, the first 6 or whatever Eclipse shots that could connect onto him if there's a Sunray on top of him. So it's I like the builds. It's just, you know, pure late game scaling, giving them a plan B into the late game should they need it.
You're also Cyber Resistance is also really good against the Doom, of course, and against the Dragon Tail, so it's always very useful. And honestly, whenever I spend time with like pro players, carries particularly, and they build anything that's like anything new as a carry, they always suggest SNY. I remember I was talking to Hector about it. It's like, what if you built Mars carry? He's like, well, I would build SNY. You know, what if you built Winter Wyvern carry? Well, SNY is pretty good, you know. And I always suggest this. The static resist just feels so natural, and the movement speed helps you so much. You never go wrong with that item.
I was convinced that they were going to nerf the status resist aspect of that item, and they didn't. I think they nerfed like the HP and healing amp and the lifesteal amp on it, which is something, I suppose, but it's no surprise that with status resist, it's still one of the most popular items of the entire patch, at least the size.
I mean, just you having it, like, unless they nerf it to an absurd amount, you know, I just think it's, like, if they were to nerf it even to 60% or 14% or whatever it is, it would still be useful.
They were pushing down bottom. Quincy, of course, scouting this are going to force them back as they're scouted by the Rocket Flare and say, if you want the tier 2 tower, that's fine, but we'll take Roche for that one. OG now, having committed the rotations, are going to have to look for a fight, so they're going to smoke up. All the ultimates are ready. Sumail has Blink, Manta, and that Shard ready to go. This is the big fight for them here, if they could swing it their way.
Yeah. That's a good ward. They want to secure this fight for sure. Rocket Flare for more vision. Sumail knows where they are. He doesn't want the Abaddon though. Good position by SVG, but instead, he finds Quinn. Can he burst him down in time? Hasn't used the Manta just yet. Trying to force that BKB. There's a Dragon Tail. The illusions are actually tearing through Quinn though, with a hook shot keeping him in place on the Supernova. Restart this fight. Thompson also went in, but all Quincy Crew has to do right now is to retreat. Those illusions really want Quinn's head, but they're soon to expire. 3 more seconds. They're not going to get any more spins. And that's going to be, maybe the attempt against Lotus's life. They stop a Doom. Thompson went a bit too far. Eclipse punishes him. And now the Doom used on Seb. He can no longer help his teammates. No more Surges. Sumail has to fight this. Goes for the Luna. Manta's not ready. Luna gets destroyed. No chance for Yawar as they spin her to death. Seb actually chasing after the Doom. The tables have been turned. He's not afraid of your Doom any longer. Maybe they chased a bit too far as they catch Seb against the tree. They still have a Dragon Tail to keep him stunned for a while. He can no longer move, and he's going to go straight to the grave. Saksa does manage to TP in time as Sumail and No-Tail retreat. But not that bad a team fight for OG, all things considered. However, Quincy Crew stood their ground well.
Yeah, I'd call that super worth, to be honest. I mean, you get through the long duration BKB on Quinn, and in fact, you probably put the fear of this Manta. You put the fear of the king in him, don't you? I mean, he was getting chunked. He had to back and run away from those Axe Illusions alone. Because even though, again, in its nerfed form, it was still making pretty darn quick work of him here. And that's the long duration BKB. You know, that's you fighting through this tanky DK without being able to Abatos him, without being able to hit him with Fire Spirits or Sunray. It only gets easier from here after that one. And that is going to be, you know, well received by OG. But this counter initiation here by Sumail is just so strong. Immediately jumping his brother and managing to get the kill, it makes this fight just absolutely wonderful here for them. As there's going to be a kill real quick here onto Saksa. Down he goes, broken and killed off quite easily. Take another look at that fight real quick. As I'll keep my eyes here, because for now OG actually Thompson, he's got his eyes down bottom, so we'll look at that fight later, because in goes Thompson, and he's going to get the kill onto Lelis.
And in goes Sumail as well, finding a little squirrel. Spin, no spins actually. Kind of unlucky here for Sumail. Thompson's chasing after, they still have a toss, just toss an illusion. The tree first, try to slow him down. MSS scurrying in the trees. Is he actually going to get away? They have an avalanche? No, they don't find him. MSS, a bit too slippery.
Caught you in your stubbies. Absolutely, MSS. That one is going to be a wasted kill, but it's still a win for OG. Again, it was just as simple as them running up and punishing them for sticking around a little bit too long. They've got really great vision here. They dropped this ward right before. Pardon me, they TP'd and ended up fighting when they scouted the Roshan attempt to make sure that they could set up for kills like this. They knew that there wasn't any counter initiation. If DK was there, you don't make that play, but he wasn't, and they knew that because of the ward. DK, though, is continuing to farm up as Quinn now rapidly approaching this Aghanim Scepter, nearly completed here at this stage. And Lelis is going for the Shivas, nearly having that one done. Mask of Madness, next item, Satanic here for UR, as they will make the jump. Sumail with the call onto the mid lane, taking a lot of damage. The Acorn Shot only gets him a couple more spins. Lelis has the Doom at the ready. He's fallen quite low. There's going to be a Supernova and a Soxa hook shot to put him down. We get the Eclipse, but only for a couple of seconds. As Luna taken down immediately. A second hook shot from the Overclock here. Catches Quinn, pushes him into the arms of Thompson, who's stunned up immediately as Quinn pops the BKB, but held down by the call of Sumail. The right-click damage and the spins coming through real strong out from the King, as there's going to be another Icarus dive forward by NoTel to slow him to a crawl. Thompson smacks him with the tree to get up the kill. That is 4 dead on the side of Quincy Crew, all starting there with the jump from Sumail.
That is insane. The speed at which OG can play this game, because of, their cooldowns are really just Berserker's Call at this point. Yeah, Supernova is useful, so is Hookshot, but it's really just Berserker's Call. And they go in with that like madmen, and Quincy Crew is not even getting a chance to breathe right now. Like, I don't even think I wasn't even expecting that initiation. Between that and the Surge, of course, just walk in and murder. Sumail now takes a free rack to this, I'm imagining.
Yep. I mean, that is the thing. They are kind of, well, they're not that weak in pushing, especially if we do get this tree grab talent, or the Aghanim Shard is what I meant to say. But that fight was just so brutal. Yawara finds himself just in the wrong spot. I don't think was expecting OG to be, immediately reinforcing for that team fight. Trying to see here in this replay which angle he ends up approaching from, because I don't believe he got sucked in by that vacuum wall combo. Gets tossed in, I believe. Thompson tosses it in to just completely his death. So nice catch there from Thompson. He's able to immediately blow up the Luna, identifying who the damage dealer is going to be, and through the Eclipse, very easily getting the kill. Second hook shot out from Soxa. After the first one was just a thing of beauty to be able to make sure they get that follow-up kill onto Quinn. And now it's going to be Quincy Crew looking for return. For vengeance after they've lost the Usurper. Sumail breaks the smoke, only sees Aloe away. Knows that there's going to be more heroes here, though. Nice ward placed down. Does scout Soxa, but Seb hiding in the trees. Sumail's looking to force him away just with the illusions alone.
Initiation for the Phoenix here. There's no egg. Oh, actually just got it. NoTel can use it again. He wants to put himself in position right behind him. They're giving them no chance to retreat. They're stuck in those cogs. What are they going to do? Literally destroyed there. All three at once. Those supports pretty much winning the fight for them. Spin to win. I mean, it was honestly just NoTel and Soxa there. Condemning Quincy Crew. Crushing them because they chose to go in a choke point like that.
Yeah, and then of course having that second hook shot just for the insult, really, is going to possibly condemn Quincy Crew here. 11k net worth lead. You got buyback on at least 2 of your cores, but Quinn without buyback and Elder Dragon form or BKB for some time now. So there goes the Fortify already. Top lane, MSS is trying to stop NoTel from split pushing. I think he missed. Probably connected the bushwhack, but NoTel just tipping him anyways. NoTel's just here to cut the wave. Yeah, they're eventually going to want to bring more pressure here.
She's winning when they bring out the tips. First you tip, then the voice slides, then it's the fountain dive.
Then it's the fountain dive, yep, in that order.
Let's see if this game they can afford to do that as well. I mean, I think Quincy still has a chance to bring this back, not gonna lie, but it's a tough one, right? You have a good single target initiation, decent save, but it won't work against the Axe. What Quincy needs to do is just be able to organize themselves appropriately against this incredibly annoying vacuum and Berserker's Call. If they're able to take a fight on their own terms with the lines that they want, with DK Doom in front, Luna a bit back, being able to put out damage, Hoodwink and the advantage just saving people left and right, it's still possible for them. It's just so difficult to do that against a haphazard OG.
Yeah, and the builds that they've gone for here in OG are making this game really difficult for them to play. Thompson decided against going straight into that Crimson Guard that he queued up initially, but Sumail did itemize, I think, quite beautifully this game. Of course, the Vanguard, the Manta, the Blink, the Shard, but straight into the AC immediately after. Helps out their push, helps defend against the Luna, helps you get through all that armor of hers as well as the DKs. So really, really nice items and good itemization here. Sumail now, the King with his second life, so long live the King twice, will be able to to even jump in further aggressively here, especially after he completes this overwhelming blink. Already clocking in at 3,000 HP. Is going to be looking to pick up a bit more after that Reaver.
But hey, you know, if history has taught me anything, is that kings die when least expected. So it's the turn for the Usurper to start doing his thing. Let's see what Big Bro can do right now.
It's hard though, Avo, because we can't put him out of position. We don't have like a mag. We don't have a Tiny, right? Like he's gonna have his team, and now with 3,400 HP, I don't know how we get through him his first life, let alone the second life here, especially with so much healing coming through. It's gonna be difficult. Quincy are quite facing an uphill battle here.
Oh, there's a smoke here. Samael. What's he going to initiate on? If he catches Quinn, this is bad. Oh, the missed Berserker's Call is your chance, Quinn. BKB immediately, hookshot stopped. There's no Berserker's Call. They're still dealing a bit of damage, but not that big a deal. In fact, Supernova even got used here. This might be a chance for Quincy Crew to walk back in. They still have their ultimates. They just need some stuns or something to deal with Samael, but... Oh, even if now you can't go against them, I mean, I guess there's an Aegis, but... What other chances will you have?
Thompson, by the way, just going into the demo mode Tiny build. He's gonna figure out how quickly he can beat through these barracks. Moonshard queued up next after the Echo Saber SNY. Of course, still getting this bonus attack speed from the Hand of Midas, but once more, holding on to the Elven Tunic, holding on and building up towards that Hyperstone. Love to see it.
Bushwhack? Okay, I mean, they're trying their best at
Look at the heals. What do you do?
You do nothing. Oh, in goes Thompson. There's the Eclipse used by Yawar. Eclipse puts him in a pickle. Okay, they actually broke some mail. That's a lot of damage.
Oh,
The sharpshooter in the vacuum puts him back in the wall. Luna needs to run away. She can't hit anything. In fact, she's close to the cogs. Saxa deals with Yawar alone. As the mail only lost his first life. The Doom's been used on Sev, but he just wants to tank this. They go for Quinn, and Quinn falls. SVG won't last either. They even found the dive ever so slightly to get Lelis out of his comfort zone and
GG.
into the grave. OG will win game number 2. And 2-0 Quincy Crew.
Yeah, really convincing gameplay out from them. Two fantastic drafts and solid gameplay to back them up here. I love the like watching Thompson back in his groove, being able to go for these clever builds or these unique builds that seemingly work out for them. I thought Quincy had a good solution for them this game, especially with the laning setup that they decided to go for, but found themselves struggling here as soon as Sumail got that the Ag Shard, Blink Dagger, Manta style timing. He was just locking down, hunting down these heroes. Thompson throwing Yawar out of position, not something the Luna was too eager to find herself in, and plenty of solid team fights to follow through on that. It means OG take a solid 2-0 victory here over the Quincy Crew squad. Congrats.
Yeah, it was really tough for them. I think the draft was not the issue here, honestly. I really think... I mean, I wouldn't even say gameplay. It just seemed that there was a point where OG put pedal to the metal and Quincy Crew just didn't know how to respond. Because, well, I mean, what do you do when you're fighting so often, so constantly, and you don't even have time to refresh your big cooldowns, you don't have time to put yourself into position? It was such a difficult position to be in from Quincy Crew. And there's not a moment to take a breath and be like, this is what we have to do. When that happened, when they had the chance, they already lost 2 racks. And they were already really, really down by the moment they realized how strong his acts had become. So I think Quincy played a really solid series. I'm not going to lie. I don't think they should be sad about this, but I think OG is just back, honestly.
Yeah, these guys looked absolutely amazing here. And, I think they just found the right targets. Thompson, he knew how to play this game. It's really awkward when you kind of have, I don't want to call Tiny like a utility core because he's not in the same way that a Bat Rider is, but Thompson kind of played him like one. We didn't really see, we saw a couple of like Avatos kills after the Blink Dagger in, but I want to say like the biggest plays were just tossing people out of position, looking for these counter kills and always threatening to do this. I mean, he found Yawar once and from there the game was kind of just secured after Sumail just, I don't want to say haphazardly jumps in, but half-heartedly commits onto a kill for Lelis. Because, again, their biggest cooldown here seemed to be just the Berserker's Call, and that was that.
And that was another point in OG's draft that I think they abused really well. They had 3 heroes, actually, to reposition you. Actually, 4 if you considered Axe and Berserker's Call. But 3, and the Cogs, the Toss, and the Vacuum, right? Those 3 things made Luna's life so difficult. You actually can check now the damage in the end game, and a lot of the damage that's missing here in the end game is simply because he was like, look at that damage dealt to heroes, less than the DK, less than the Doom, less than MSS. Not because Yawar played a bad game, but because he was constantly having to reposition himself. I wasn't even checking this; I just knew it was going to be this way because we just saw him running away all the time against the Vacuum, against the Cogs, against the Toss. what do you do? How do you protect him? How do you prevent this from happening? You just don't. You have to get the BKB super early and then fight a bit earlier than that. I think they had some good fights towards the mid game, but once OG came online, they didn't seem to have a chance.
Yeah, that's kind of my take on that game as well. So we'll bring it back here to cameras to bid you guys adieu, as it is going to be the 2-0 victory here for OG. These guys are going to be moving on to play the winners of our second lower bracket series, which is continuing on the A stream. That will be the winner of Alliance versus Viking GG. So it's going to be another Western European matchup as Quincy Crew 2-0'd by T1 and 2-0'd by OG are going to be walking home with a very respectable finish of, what is this, 5th and 6th place. And they'll be taking home $15,000 to bolster their bank accounts before these guys get ready to go straight to TI, of course, being one of 2 representatives out from the NA region.
Quincy Crew, thank you for participating in this tournament. It was a pleasure to be able to cast your games and to watch you guys when we weren't casting you. It's hard not to root for a squad that tries to take things in their own hands. It says, screw you to sponsors. The true Dota spirit of, we're not even going to make our own org. We're just going to be a crew. That is the story we want to see here. So I can't wait to see these guys in TI, as they won't be going to the NA qualifiers. They did really well in the major as well. And we see some intermediate third-party tournament, but hopefully they'll just be preparing for TI and boot camping. And for OG, it's exciting to see them back in full form. Let's see how they do further in this tournament.
Absolutely, guys. That is going to do it for us here over on the B stream, as now we're whittling down to the best of the best, and it's just the cream of the crop left, as the next match is going to be for the lower bracket finals. Make sure you guys stay tuned on over to the A stream, however, where we have the winner bracket finals. It's going to be VP taking on T1. But on behalf of Alvaro, the production crew behind the scenes...
I just want to point out that if you want to follow the games, I think the best thing you could do, actually, because this is the last day of the B stream, is you can go to the A stream and give them a follow. Alternatively, if you want to see future tournaments, we should follow this stream as well. And if you want to check out, of course, the casting Twitters of ourselves, myself for Seek and Strike, I'm at Mr. Avo Plus. My friend is at Seek and Strike Dota, !casters. Now, Richie, feel free. Take us away.
On behalf of Alvaro, myself, and the production crew, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Whether you've been following us through our van across Eastern Europe for Season 1 of the DPC, or on this channel for Season 2 of Eastern Europe, or you're just tuning in now, thank you guys so much. Hopefully you enjoyed the coverage, and we'll be back a little bit later on in this tournament for just one last cast. Until then, stay safe, and...
Everything is alright. Everything is alright.
It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.